Welcome to the Pink Pill RX podcast, hosted by Katie and Jay Fillmore, where we navigate complex and thought-provoking topics surrounding women with a focus on education. For shorter form content, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at Caters88 or Pink Pill RX.
That's KATORS88.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.
Okay, I have to talk about something I don't want to talk about because it's embarrassing and I don't like feeling embarrassed. But the premium research library is not going to be available today like we had hoped. And this has happened before, which is why it's embarrassing, where we have built something up and then it hasn't come to fruition for one reason or another, and it's annoying. What I really need to do is hire somebody who's good with digital products and can help me, because we have a basically fully developed e-course. I have an ebook that's basically ready to roll, and I have this library that I want to get out there, but it is just not to my liking yet. And I'm not going to put something out there that I don't love. So that's where I'm at, and I'm really sorry. You can continue to use the free library, and there is a link on the free library where you can put in your email address and be notified as soon as the premium research library is available. So I apologize. I don't know what else to say. In the future, I'm not going to announce anything ahead of time. You know, they say to do that, right? Build up hype. I'm not built like that, apparently. When I build up hype, it backfires on me, and I'm not going to do it anymore. On that note, welcome to our next episode. When you think of gossip, what comes to mind?
Talking about other people's business.
Talking about other people's business.
Yep.
Okay. And when you think about the people who gossip, what demographic do you tend to think of?
God, I hate this line of questioning. Usually white suburban women.
Women. White suburban women. Yeah, sure. But women in general. Like when you think about men talking about other people's business, you're not thinking, oh, they're gossiping.
Huh. I don't know. I think I view men and women who gossip as gossip.
And gossip is just talking about other people's business, or is it like saying inflammatory things?
Oh, no. To me, it's like when you're talking about somebody else in a way that feels like you shouldn't. That's probably we probably shouldn't talk about that part of their life. That's more of a private thing. Like, we really shouldn't be talking about that.
Well, I want you to know that there's a well-documented historical and cultural pattern where the word gossip shifted from meaning female friendship and mutual support
Whoa.
to meaning idle, shameful, harmful talk. And
Really?
that shift has been used to discredit and silence women's speech. So we're going to do a little history lesson here. And this word's never going to mean the same thing to you again. The word gossip originates from godsib, meaning a close friend or sponsor at baptism. Someone in your intimate circle, and in practice, often a female friend present at childbirth or at community events, like a godparent almost. And in medieval and early modern communities, gossips were networks of women who shared information, stories, and practical knowledge. This was a form of female sociality and solidarity, not assumed to be negative. From the 16th century onward, as patriarchal control and early capitalism consolidated, there was a deliberate cultural term where gossip shifted from close female friend to idle, disruptive women's talk. And authorities issued proclamations forbidding women from gathering to babble and talk.
Whoa. Wow.
And husbands were urged to keep their wives at home. Female friendships and informal women's talk were portrayed as dangerous, sowing discord and undermining male authority.
Wow.
And in the context of witch hunts, women's speech and networks were targeted. The accused women were forced under torture to denounce one another, and devices like the scold's bridles or branks, which we're going to talk about here in a second, were used to punish gossips or women who talked too much or were seen as troublesome. Have you ever heard of the bridle?
I don't think. Isn't that what, like, I thought it was a horse thing with a horse.
Yeah, it's similar. So it was called the scold's bridle or the gossip's bridle. It was a metal device used from about the 16th to 18th centuries to punish and silence mostly women accused of gossiping or speaking out of turn.
What was it?
The device itself was an iron cage / helmet that enclosed the head, and inside was a flat iron plate, often with a spike shoved over or under the tongue, so the wearer couldn't speak and was in pain if she tried. It was explicitly used to punish scolds, shrews, and gossips, almost always women whose speech was seen as riotous, argumentative, nagging, or publicly embarrassing to male authority. So me.
And that was just always a threat loomed over you.
Yeah. Sometimes the device was fitted with bells or chains so that women could be paraded through town, humiliated, and made an example of to deter other women from talking too much or gossiping.
I'm assuming that someone could have just accused a woman of gossip and she had no legal rights.
Probably not.
Probably just took the other person's word if it was a man, right?
Yeah.
So really, you could be falsely accused of gossip and then you have to wear this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no power to stop. You have no legal recourse or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if I lived then, I wouldn't have to worry about that, but you would. That's crazy. Like, I understand that time period was brutal in general, but silencing your speech and your ability to gather together, it's kind of like our First Amendment. Right to peaceably assemble, freedom of speech.
Yeah. Well, women
for centuries. My God.
Weren't allowed that. And they were punished for usurping male authority, right? Speaking out against male authority.
Yeah. Jeez.
Feminist historians argue that this punishment is part of a wider project, turning women's talk from mutual support and knowledge sharing, which often could help with survival. This is a bad man. This is a bad person. Stay away from this. Don't do that. Did you hear what so-and-so did? It took away that knowledge sharing and then made it criminalized and mocked, which reinforced patriarchal control. It's still happening today. I mean, no, there's not the bridle, right? But this idea of women talking about things like, oh, it's gossiping.
Yeah.
And that's bad. And labeling women's talk as just gossip delegitimizes their speech, their testimony, political concerns, shared knowledge, especially when it comes to abuse, exploitation, or injustice. We frame that kind of talking, sharing of information about other people's experiences. My experience with this person was X, Y, and Z. We frame it as like petty, untrustworthy, or morally suspect because it falls under the umbrella of gossip.
I think it carries a weight of belittlement to it as well. Like, oh, they're just gossiping.
Right.
Like, you pretty much
it delegitimizes it. Yeah.
Delegitimize is what I was about to say.
Yeah. It isolated women from one another, right? And discouraged them from sharing information that could protect or empower them. Scholars note that this framing occurs in a world where men dominate formal institutions like courts, churches, workplaces. So calling women's parallel information networks gossip helps keep these networks socially and morally downgraded, even when they are a crucial tool for safety or resistance or rebellion. Break them up, right? And some historians point out that in ancient Greece and other contexts, that gossip was one of the few tools available to women, slaves, and lower status people to seek social vengeance or justice when the formal legal routes were closed to them.
So what does gossip mean in that context? Like, what's the definition of
it? Would be sharing information about life experiences and about like other people.
Okay.
Again, watch out for that person. Don't do, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
Don't sleep with that man. Don't be with that man. Or for rebellion purposes, rising up together, organizing, advocating.
Wow, I didn't know it had that many dimensions to it.
Some contemporary feminists describe gossip as an act of resistance.
Is that because you're resisting to being told not to do it? Or is it
Yes, they advocate it for being an informal channel where women and other marginalized groups share warnings about dangerous people, abusive bosses,
Okay.
predatory
Yeah.
men, and coordinate quiet forms of protection or pushback. Now, of course, gossip can be used to harm other people in marginalized groups and things like that.
I feel like that's more like it when you're a school kid.
The point is, it's a very powerful social tool, and calling it just mere gossip can be a way to dismiss the power.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that in biblical texts, right? Because doesn't the Bible talk about gossip?
Oh, I was wondering about that.
The
I had some
Bible
questions
talks about
that,
gossip.
actually.
For the Old Testament in Hebrew, the English gossip translates into a word. I'm going to mess it up. Rakil, I think is what it is.
How do you spell it?
It's Rakil, meaning a talebearer or scandal monger, someone who goes around spreading secrets or harmful stories. In the New Testament Greek, it used terms like, I'm not even going to try to say it.
So many consonants.
And it refers to whispering or secret slandering. Some translations render these as gossip, whispering, or slander. So several modern translations, especially the NIV and NLT, use the word gossip.
Which I feel like after you shared like the origins of the modern use of that word, it has no business in translation.
No, it doesn't. So a gossip betrays confidence, like in Proverbs 11:13. A gossip betrays a confidence. Well, that would be a talebearer or scandal monger. Romans 1:29. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips. Again, gossips just doesn't belong there. So it's just a way that the system has tried to silence women, women's talk, women's gathering, women's speech, and silence them.
Kind of feels like being anti-union. You don't want women to organize and communicate with each other, or collectively do something, right?
Right, you really don't. I mean, I think that is disdained by many groups of people.
Yeah, I feel like guys are so afraid of women having collective power.
Because they picture us doing to them what they have done to us.
Right. Yeah, you said that before. That's a really good point.
So, of course, they're scared.
Now, like after, a couple of years of doing this, I'm like, guys, I think it would actually be a lot better. I think things would be taken care of a lot better. Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about silencing women and something else that culture does to us, which is teaches us to self-silence. Self-silencing in women is a well-studied construct in psychology. It refers to inhibiting one's own thoughts, needs, and emotions, usually to keep relationships stable.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that a lot.
And it does have gendered origins. Self-silencing is framed as a product of gendered socialization. Women are more pressured to be relational, agreeable, and self-sacrificing, particularly in intimate relationships. The concept comes largely from Dana Crowley-Jack's work on women in depression in the late 80s and 90s. And it describes a pattern of compulsive caretaking, pleasing others, and suppressing self-expression to maintain intimacy. So women learn via these gender norms that being nice, accommodating, and conflict avoidant is expected. So they silence the anger, they silence their needs, they silence their dissenting views, often at the cost of their own psychological well-being. There is a large body of work that connects self-silencing to women's mental health. And part of the reason why it affects mental health, they theorize. I think it would make sense how it affects mental health. But one of the theories emphasizes the divided self, that there's a gap between the authentic inner experience and the compliant outer self, which fosters shame, hopelessness, and this loss of agency. Women's tendency to silence their own emotions and needs is associated not only with psychological problems such as depression and eating disorders, but also with serious physical health conditions. In March of 22, there was a study at the University of Pittsburgh where they reported that women of color who strongly agreed with statements like, "I rarely express my anger to those close to me," had a 70% higher likelihood of exhibiting increased carotid atherosclerosis. I should be able to say this. I'm a nurse. Plaque in the arteries. Okay, that's what it is. It's a type of cardiovascular plaque, and it's linked to elevated heart attack risk. This study examined 304 non-smoking women ages 40 to 60 and found that 47% of them had carotid plaque, a marker of cardiovascular risk. And the researchers reported that greater self-silencing was associated with increased odds of that plaque being present, even after accounting for cardiovascular risk factors, depression, and health behaviors.
Wow. That's a pandemic.
It supports the argument that chronic emotional suppression in relationships may have measurable physical health consequences for women. There's additional research that has connected self-silencing in women to irritable bowel syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, and various forms of cancer. One of the most striking findings in one of these studies was women's self-silencing was tied to a greater risk of dying prematurely. In one study, researchers tracked nearly 4,000 residents of Framingham, Massachusetts, over a 10-year period. And women who reported that they did not voice their feelings during marital conflict were 4 times more likely to die over the follow-up period than women who expressed themselves.
How long was the follow-up period?
10 years.
Wow. So when patriarchal society socializes women to self-silence, we're killing them. We're killing you.
It's one of the ways. In that particular study, the risk remained even after they controlled for age, blood pressure, smoking, and cholesterol levels.
Gosh, I'm glad you're going to live.
Because I expressed myself during marital conflict.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great not guessing what you're thinking or feeling or what's going on.
Yeah,
and you're gonna live.
I have a hard time holding it in. That's for sure. There's a price to being silenced.
Yeah, you just there's a deferred cost. No, there's a real time cost too because it's happening.
It's happening, and it's distressing too.
Time.
They also found this in cross-cultural studies. It shows that self-silencing was associated with depression across cultures.
That makes sense. You mean you're denying what you need all the time.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Although the theory was developed from women's experiences, research consistently finds that men also report equal or even higher levels of self-silencing. But the reasons they silence themselves and the mental health consequences differ by gender.
Oh, I would love to hear about that because I continuously struggle with self-silencing.
So self-silencing for men usually has to do with masculine norms. So it's linked to adherence to traditional masculine ideas like don't show weakness, handle the problems alone, leading them to suppress emotions and needs to appear strong or in control.
Yeah, that's very true.
So the self-silencing comes in this emotional restraint or this over self-reliance. For many women, self-silencing is driven by cultural scripts as well, but it equates to like being good, being nice, being accommodating, being self-sacrificing. Fear that expressing anger or disagreement or need will damage relationships or lead to rejection. So it's like women view their voice more through the lens of I speak to sustain connection. Versus men view their voice a little more tied to autonomy and status, like I speak to assert myself. So silencing just the underlying conflict looks different. And although both genders show a positive link between self-silencing and depressive symptoms, the strength and pathways of that link differ. Women repeatedly show a stronger correlation between self-silencing and depression than men do. Men self-silencing, like the depression comes out of like the self-concealment and the reduced help-seeking behaviors because they don't really seek mental health help. And then they also use different coping mechanisms more than women, such as substance abuse and aggression. So overall, men can be highly self-silencing, but the same level of depression isn't there. And in fact, there are studies where when men show more self-sacrificing care, so when women show the self-sacrifice in care, their depression rates go up. With men, they showed a negative correlation with that.
Wow.
So It wasn't like extreme, but there was a slight negative correlation with like depression risk reduction.
Oh, I wonder why.
With the self-sacrificing of care. So it didn't carry the same psychological cost.
Yeah.
This is just a concrete example, though, how patriarchal gender norms harm everyone, but in asymmetric kind of ways. Like with women, it's more direct internalizing distress, depression, eating pathology tied to relational self-erasure. With men, it's the high self-silencing tied to masculine performance with potentially different clinical presentations and help-seeking patterns. But they're both told to shut up. It's just in different ways.
Yeah.
They're both told to shut up and do it, basically. It's just different ways.
Yeah, so if we're both being told to shut up, and then who's telling both of us?
Yeah, right? Well, it's the system, right?
Exactly.
And two other, maybe not fun facts. These aren't fun facts, but I just was curious to know, okay, in relationships, how much are people really expressing themselves? There was a recent survey that was done that they found that 70% of couples avoid difficult conversations about emotions, sex, money, and trust, which suggests the majority do not consistently talk through their problems directly.
That's a crazy statistic. That's just over 2/3. So you take 3 relationships, 2 of them aren't talking about stuff.
Most avoided topics: emotions or emotional needs, 34% of people said they avoided it. Sex or physical intimacy, 33.8%. Jealousy or trust issue, 28.7%. Money or spending, 25.7%. The reason for avoidance, they said, was difficulty expressing feelings, came in high at 30%. Fear of your partner's reaction was a close second at 29.8%. And worry the conversation would harm the relationship was 29.2%. Belief talking would not help, 23%. Feeling overwhelmed, 18.2%. Fear of rejection or judgment, 16.6%. Only 16.5% said that conflicts are always resolved. 18.7% say conflicts are rarely resolved. And 18.6% said conflicts often remained unsettled.
This all sounds so hard.
Conflict handling. One partner shuts down, 36.5% reported that. Partners work together towards a solution, only 22.9% said that. One partner gets their way, 19.1% said that. The issue is sidestepped, 13.1%. During arguments, old arguments resurfaced 40% of the time. Feeling flooded or overwhelmed happened 37% of the time. Escalation to insults or name calling happened 29% of the time. One partner just walks away, happened 18% of the time. Emotional shutdown, 16% of the time. Staying kind or playful, 8.5% of the time. Gender split on the avoided topics. 36% of men avoided sex or intimacy topics versus 32% of women. 35% of women avoided emotional conversations versus 33% of men. Well, that's interesting. Women avoided the emotional conversations more.
Yeah, I didn't see that. That wasn't on my bingo card for this.
Yeah. Huh. Gender split on the reasons why. So this is per gender, the reasons why. 31% of women feared their partner's reaction.
What was the male number one?
On the fears or partner's reaction, 28% of men.
Oh, I see. No, is that the female group's top reason?
Yeah.
What's the male group's top reason?
It was also.
Was that too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, efforts to improve communication. Seeking advice from friends or family came in at 29.4%. That was the highest. But it's only 29.4%.
Yeah.
Among Americans in serious relationships, 30% say they argue with their partner at least weekly. 28% say once or multiple times a month. And 32% say once or multiple times a year. Only 3% say they never argue. Now, I will say, though, there's a lot of research out there saying that arguing isn't bad.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit is important,
so
I think.
Those 3%, that doesn't necessarily mean they're sitting pretty because they're probably self-silencing. But the survey also showed, that particular one also showed that married couples argue about as often as unmarried couples in serious relationships.
Oh. How often would you say that we argue?
We don't argue that often. But when we were dating, anytime I expressed anything that could even be skewed in the negative direction, you were under the impression we were arguing.
You're right. Yes. I was not used to direct conversations about just conflict.
Because I just like would express, like I would just say like, oh, I don't like that.
And I'm like, oh, we're fighting.
Yeah. And I'm just stating a fact that I just didn't like that.
Yeah, it just felt like fighting words.
I know, but it's because you grew up in a family that didn't talk about anything.
Yeah.
So like, if you did say something,
oh, a lot.
Oh my gosh, the iceberg below that, you had to have been sitting on that for a long time.
Yeah, or like, man, this has really pushed you over the edge for you to say something about it versus like, no, I was just thinking about it. It just bothered me.
Yeah. It took years for our relationship to like stabilize because I think like for the first 2 years of our marriage, you thought we were arguing all the time.
I thought you were mad at me all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Which I did not understand.
And it wasn't like he was even that frequent. But going from nothing to, I don't know, a few times a month, maybe earlier in the relationship, I was like, oh my God, we're fighting all the time. It'd probably be like 2 or 3 times in a month. I thought we fight all the time.
But it wasn't even like,
it wasn't even big stuff.
How I view an argument is very different than how you view an argument. We grew up in very different households.
Yeah, very.
So, like, to me, I am just having a conversation that maybe I have some feelings about. Maybe I am upset. I'm not raising my voice. There's definitely no name calling. That has never happened in our relationship.
No, you've never called me a name.
No.
Not one time.
Well, you've never called me a name.
No, God, no.
I just wanted to talk about things, and you did not.
Yeah. What part of me is like, what am I going to call you, a butthead? Like, it's just like, why? But that's probably a bit naive of me.
Yeah. No, that is, I mean, I've been called a bitch many a times in arguing with significant others.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but that's obviously never
awful.
happened. So no, butthead's not the answer. There's a lot broader vocabulary out there.
Very sorry that you were called that.
Oh, thank you.
Many times. God. Unbelievable. But also, like, you're called the name. Ha, good one. What are you doing? I mean, I do understand, like, yeah, I'm not trying to fault anyone with like that's where your relationship goes at times, because I understand tempers get really out of control. Things get built up inside. I understand that. However, at the same time, one, it's not respectful of the other person even if they've made you incredibly upset. Two, what's that going to accomplish?
Yeah, I don't know. You know that you have a problem on your hands when I'm just very quiet.
Oh yeah,
you've learned that.
That's bad. And if you're really, really quiet and I don't ask you about it,
yep,
worse.
That's bad too. But in our early marriage, again, you're like, well, if she's quiet, it's just going to blow over. And I'm like, if it's quiet, it's
bad.
Multiplying.
It's like when birds start flying away from the forest, you know something's coming.
It is. I'm thinking of all of the ways how this is just unjust. I'm winning every argument in my head.
And then you get to me and you're like, child's play, I already did this.
Yeah, I've been there, done that,
I've already done
won
this.
that.
Yeah. I remember there's been a couple times where I've really like landed the plane on my side. And you're like, one time there was a pause and you said, well, I guess we're just both really good arguers.
It's funny because like in your family though, it makes sense because if there was a blow up over something, you just didn't talk about it again.
Things went back to normal.
And then things went back to normal and it would just blow over.
Yeah.
So like quiet wasn't bad.
It's like a funnel cloud that just passes over you.
But in my house,
down.
You fought until conclusion. Now, I'm not saying that was always healthy or always good, because there was a lot of ways things were communicated that were not healthy. Like growing up, I mean.
Yeah, like it wasn't the good kind of arguing or fighting till it's sorted out.
Right. It wasn't like that, yeah. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Tuning in. This isn't a radio show.
Don't touch that dial.
I still don't know how to enter or exit the conversation when it comes to our episodes.
I know. Love you. Bye. I hope for those of you listening, something was intriguing or sparked a curiosity, or you felt affirmed or challenged. Stay educated. Take the pink pill. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.